Nigerians are expected to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity.
The Yoruba Unity Forum is
to you on
Be the first to know.
on Core TV News.
From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa,
Presidential
we break the news.
Women in Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live
I wish you would.
as the news breaks. We are Core TV News,
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
our
News.
24-hour news station.
Thanks for staying with us on Core Digest Friday. We apologize for coming a little bit behind schedule. Now, one of the very interesting stories in the course of this week was the APC presidential candidate's visit to London. Why some started talking about some pictures from the Heathrow airport to some of the APC stakeholders walking on the streets of London. Many were saying it was a Photoshop, and many were even saying if it was in London, then it must be for health purposes. Well, finally, yesterday, there was indeed something for everyone to see and to confirm that Buhari was in London and that it was hale and hearty, just as General Muhammadu Buhari assured the international community that the worry over Nigeria due to its present challenges will be a thing of the past if he's elected as president come March 28, 2015. All of this happened at the Chatham House, where he had a talk on some other developing issues in democracy across Africa. Let's just take some time out to find out what the mood was like at the Chatham House yesterday.
He just said Buhari has died in hospital in London. So he called me, and I laughed my head off. So certainly, I would be expecting too much if I don't expect people are wishing me dead. So, but I'm very pleased I'm fit, and my doctors have declared me fit, and I'm going back for the final onslaught on PDP. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. What did you have a view on Sharia law?
Oh, Sharia. You see, I don't like so much of Sharia. That's why I omitted it. I had to ask to answer so many questions about Sharia when I have closed the meeting with, especially with the Christian community. The problem is the Nigerian constitution is superior. Sharia is put on the same level with customary laws. Its relevance is limited to inheritance, marriage, and so on. So people that cultures and communities accept. So Sharia is limited to that by our constitution. So anybody who wants to change Sharia will have to go and change the constitution.
General, thank you very much indeed for a fascinating, what I found a fascinating address and some very straightforward answers to a wide range of questions. Everyone will take their own impressions of today. I suppose most in my mind will be 3 things that have struck out. Other people will have other groups. But the 3 things that I will take away from here was your firm statement about the importance of the electoral timetable now, as amended, but that elections alone do not democracy make. Secondly, you're highlighting security and the importance of the welfare and morale of the Nigerian soldiers who are up there trying to deal with Boko Haram. And thirdly, something which I'm sure will be quoted back to you, probably is already, that corruptors will not be appointed. I'm going to ask you in a moment, audience, to show your appreciation again to General Buhari. After that, will you please stay in your places, because the General has a number of press interviews he's going to give, and if everybody comes up and talks to him, he'll never get to them. So I know it's not Nigerian custom, but we're in London, so instead of flooding to the front, could you stay put until General Buhari has left the room? Thank you very much indeed for an inspiring talk.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much indeed.
Just a little excerpt from what transpired there. The general had about 1 hour delivery of speech and, of course, took out certain time to answer some of the questions. But is it true that it's not customary in Nigeria that we allow the top figures to move out before we step out of the auditorium? That's another issue for another day. But another interesting thing that transpired in London yesterday, prior to the arrival of the general at the Chatham House, there was some little protest from some young Nigerians, and they call it the anti-Buhari protest. Another amazing part of this protest was that Rose P. Graham, the lady who conducted this particular interview, spoke with some of them to find out why they came out to protest against General Buhari. It's quite interesting. Let's find out what they have to say.
How are you doing? I spoke to you earlier on. Please, I want you to tell me why you're doing this.
Because we don't want dictatorship in Nigeria anymore.
Why? What do you know about the general?
The General Buhari?
Yes.
I just heard about him from people that he's not a good leader or something like that.
You only heard from people. Have you done your studies about him?
What is that?
Have you done your studies about him?
No, not at all.
No. But how did you come about this demonstration?
I was told, I don't know what to say. I'm not prepared for this interview at this moment.
Nice. Okay, let me speak to my sister. How are you doing, darling? What's your name? Okay, tell me why you're doing this demonstration. You don't really know. Why don't you know?
Is it because of the voting?
Because of voting. What do you believe in? You're not Nigerian.
I am Nigerian, but I'm...
Where are you from in Nigeria?
Yoruba.
You're Yoruba.
So I don't really know anything much about.
You don't know much about politics. Okay, so tell me what you're doing here then.
I came here to, support.
Support who? You can talk to me. I'm your friend. I'm Nigerian. I'm from Edo State.
Is it Jonathan that we came to support?
You came to support Jonathan. Why are you supporting Jonathan?
I don't know.
You don't know why you're supporting him. So why are you against Buhari?
Oh, I'm not against anyone. I'm not against anyone.
Okay, but why are you here for this demonstration?
I don't really know.
Okay then, you don't know why. That's fine. Okay. The girls I was going to speak with earlier on, they've actually moved. Hello, darling. Can we speak? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Can you tell us about this demonstration?
I don't really know much about it. Speak. I just want to get...
You don't want to speak to me?
No.
Why don't you want to speak to me?
What party do you represent?
No, I'm a freelance.
Hello.
Sweetheart, can you speak with me, please? I want you to tell me about this demonstration.
I don't know what to say. I don't really know.
Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it for your president? But why are you doing this against General Buhari?
Umaru Diko. We need answers.
Okay, do you want to
We need answers, Umaru Diko.
Okay.
We need answers.
Okay.
I can only work for a few hours a week.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I can understand or relate to their sentiment.
Okay.
The reason why being not in their interest, but the fact that they need to put food on their table, they have to do this.
So they have to do
They have to do this. Don't blame them. They are just a victim of the same system that have been there training us in the last 6 years.
Okay.
Sorry, poor students. These are students. And these are international students.
All right, footage is there from Chatham in London yesterday. Some protest against the general. Of course, you also got content from what they have to say. Prior to this time, APC accused PDP of paying some people to protest against the general in London. You can put all of that together and decide for yourself whether it is true or not. But I'm joined on the show this morning by a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst, Barrister Monday UBANI. Good morning, and thank you for finding time to join us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Let's start from the beginning. Before the Chatan drama, you recall that there were some major political stakeholders who came up to say that Buhari was never in London, that the pictures were photoshopped, and that even if it was in London, it was for health purposes. Do you think that Nigerians would have taken a cue from this to understand that probably most of the non-issue-based campaign are not as true as they appear?
Well, this is my second time of being here and talk about the issue of Nigerian politics, especially with the issue of campaign that has been ongoing. And our view is that most of the issues that they are raising at the campaign grounds are not what Nigerians expect them to be raising. There are fundamental issues that are besetting this country that has put us in total disarray. And we want our politicians to address them. For those who are already in government, what would you do differently, or how would you, ask us to renew mandate, and for what purpose? What are your antecedents? What are the things you've done in time past, that you want us now to renew this mandate for you? Most of them are not addressing those issues. For those also who are seeking even to take over power, we're also saying, what would you do differently if you get there? And we're not getting most of these things from them. Is only attack on personality, attack and constant attack. Now, if there is anything that Buhari's appearance did yesterday, he shut up the mouths of those who said in the first place that he was somewhere in Oshodi, that he was hiding somewhere in Oshodi and he was never in London. So he didn't speak from Oshodi yesterday. He didn't speak from Victoria Land. He spoke from London. And so we saw Buhari live. One. Then the second issue was that issue of health, that he actually went for medical examination, and that what people were saying he was even on a stretcher, that he's not hell and hearty. So yesterday also he stood for how many minutes? For almost 55 or thereabout, without any water, speaking on very profound and fundamental issue that has to do with issue of governance, and that also showed that he was not sick and that he didn't actually go for medical treatment, or he was not in the hospital, So these are issues, and so there are issues raised in his speech. They are profound. Issue of what is going on in Nigeria, and the interest of the world in what is happening here is very key. They want to know what is going on with Nigeria, a key nation in Africa with the highest population, issue of economy with the largest economy. And then if there is any problem tomorrow with Nigeria and the kind of environmental and humanitarian problem that any war we create in Nigeria is something that you don't even contemplate. So the world has shown so much attention. It took American president to send his Secretary of State to come here to ensure that we don't postpone the election. We do carry out the electoral process through. And then the British people have also shown interest. Almost the entire world, have shown interest in what is going on. And they are asking that we do the right thing, obey our constitution, and ensure that our election is free, fair, and credible.
Let's take some minutes out to consider the controversies shrouding this particular issue. Of course, the PDP, according to its spokesman, Femi Fanikade, is saying that it's amazing that the APC presidential candidate that refused to participate in a debate in his own country was keen to sell his message to a foreign audience.
Now, I'm talking like as a Nigerian. I'm not an APC member. I'm not here to defend why APC presidential candidate did not, honor the debate. I have said it in a different fora that if I were in his shoe, I would like to participate in that debate, even though he has raised some objection as to the impartiality of the organizers, and he has actually shown interest in participating in previous debates. For the 3 times he contested, he was willing, and then his opponents were not willing. So. Why this time, and why he has given his reasons. Now, the world has become a global village, and as I said earlier, there is so much interest being shown to this country by international bodies and foreign countries, and so it's also important that they want to know who we will work with, what are his perception of his country, what are his perception of the world. Very, very key. How will he formulate his policies? Because you need partnership. You cannot succeed at now you know, in any country without foreign partnership. You need it. You know, in fact, the formation of foreign bodies, or all these international multilateral bodies, has actually eroded issue of sovereignty. If any country now claims we are sovereign, we are this and all that, there are decisions that are taken by foreign, you know, international bodies that erode that sovereignty. So you need their partnership, you need their cooperation, and so how they perceive you, how they see you, you know, who is coming in or who is going out and all that is also very key. And so if he is invited, because I don't think he's going there to debate, he was invited by such a you know, important organization, and to address them in Chatan House. Remember that the National Security Advisor was also in Chatan House recently. It was there he flew the kite of the postponement and all that. So that presents also an opportunity for them to, you know, sell themselves to the world, because not only selling yourself to your own people, you must also sell yourself to the world. As I told you, the world has become eroded. You know what? No more can you say, oh, we are very sovereign, we don't need international cooperation or perception about us and all that. So, which he did yesterday. The delivery was superb. What he said about Nigeria is a correct comprehension of what is going on. And then he's saying, you are showing interest in us. These things you have against us, we will correct them very soon if you come in. We will, you know, tackle issue of economic problem. We will tackle issue of security problem. We will tackle issue of, you know, some other, even issue of corruption. He raised those issues. And that perception is key. And if you get it, you know, right, you know, with international body, they can go a long way and also helping you to be perceived rightly here in your country.
What do you make of the little dramatic protest you saw outside the Chatham House? It was in London, but we also have a reflection of what traditionally transpires here in Nigeria.
Well, they have a right, you know, to protest. They have a right. It is a fundamental human right. Even there, it is, you know, something that they give, you know, a greater disadvantage to. So, but what it is not clear to me is whether those people were rented, whether they were not rented. Okay. And the perception that I got from that small interview from that lady, showed that most of them were actually brought there without knowing why they were, you know, brought there to protest, and probably given what they have written for them to exhibit to the world. And so they have no idea why they were there. They clearly don't even understand the person they're protesting against, because if you want to protest against somebody and there are facts and all that, you Google and know a little bit about him. And, you know, from point of knowledge, most of them don't even know who Buhari is, or for what he stood for, or for what he stands for. And so they were only hired. And hirelings, you know, when you are hired to do a job, you do it like a hireling. So that is what happened actually from that interview. Most of them were not even aware why they are there. But my dear brother, giving you £100, you know, for a student or for somebody that has not seen money for a long time in Britain, a lot of them are jobless there.
How do you see
the condition in the country has made many Nigerians to be abroad looking, you know, to survive, you know, hustle. They call it hustle. You ask them, what are you doing abroad? They say they are hustling, you know, that most of them are hustlers there, nothing doing and all that. So giving them anything at that point in time to put food on their table is something that they could do anything for and all that.
If that could happen in London, then you can imagine the level of that happening here in Nigeria.
Are you not aware that people who go for political rallies are paid?
Are also being paid.
No, that's the fact. They give you 2,000, 3,000. They call it transport money, you know, logistics. You know, they always provide. All the political parties are guilty. They make provision for logistics. If you want a larger crowd to attend your rallies and all that, you must provide
then
logistics for those. Yeah, they're paid.
But how do you see all of these impact on the quality of decision making in a nation that has almost 60% of its youth unemployed, according to the general?
Yes, my brother is a I don't know how to put it. We're in a serious problem, but I think people must have a correct perception of what is going on and a correct understanding. There is nothing you cannot fix. There is no problem that cannot be fixed. Even this issue of unemployment is having a correct economic policy put in place by any government in power. The moment you have foreign, what they call inflows of investors, and then you have the infrastructures put in place, especially energy, and the factories that are established here are functional and are now relocating, you put Nigerians to work. And then the issue of basic light is there. There are a lot of Nigerians that want to work independently. You know, they are the ones that they are the major carriers of the economy, but they don't have any. They don't have light. And when you don't have any light, every day you come to your office and nothing to work with. What do? You now begin to look for a way to exit out of the country. So it's a country that Nigerians actually are very hardworking people, but the environment is not being made conducive. It's not as if the government should be employer. largest employer of workers. No, what government does in everywhere in the world is to create what economic environment for people to thrive, especially the middle class, to work. They are the engine of the economy. But you find out that there is no question of middle class in Nigeria today. It's either you're on top, and there are very few, less than 10%, or you are below, and the entire 99% are below, and all that. So there is no middle class, who are the engine of the economy. So I think it's issue of perception, and I think it's issue of somebody coming in and saying, look, I can do this, and these are the things I can do within 2 years. Any government that knows its onions within 2 years can make a difference. By the time you come in with right economic policies in place, you see the people reacting. Now, if you go to America, before Obama came, the economy of America was going down the drain. Within 4 years, he was able to lay a solid foundation. Today, the level of unemployment in America has reduced considerably, and they're giving you statistics every day of how many Americans are in employment, how they have reduced indices of unemployment and all that. So they're there. It's basic. It's somebody understand and having the right people to work with. It doesn't require rocket science.
But let's also consider it this way. Are you saying that what you will do in government necessarily does not determine how you get to power? Because you also made mention that this idea of giving electorate money at campaign rallies cuts across political divide.
Yes.
One of the things the general talked about was the fact that it would not employ corrupt people to work with him if he wins election. If this corruption is seen across political divide, are we sure that any of these two candidates would have the integrity to make a difference even when they get to power?
Now you must also work with understanding of what is called reality.
Okay.
There is what we call reality. The reality on ground today is that Nigerians are impoverished. Nigerians are very, very poor. The reality on ground today is that the people who are holding the economy of this country are few people who manage to be in government, on time, while people went to sleep and have cornered the entire wealth, and they're the one who determines who becomes what. That's the reality on ground. So if you are there pontificating of your self-righteousness, I want to be a president, I want to be a governor, I want to be a local government chairman, and you don't have the resources, you don't have the money to run your campaign, you are not going anywhere, because nobody will listen to all those beautiful manifestos. People are looking for what we call stomach infrastructure. You must take care of them. Even in your, when you're going for your rallies, and you ask them to come and attend your rallies and hear what manifesto and all that, most of them are saying that they don't even have transport money to leave their village and come and listen to your statements, sir. So the reality on ground is that you come there and pontificate, you can come, we want to build a better Nigeria. He said he doesn't have even the transport money to leave his village and come to listen to you in your manifesto. So you must make provision for his logistics to come and listen to you in the first place. Because he has no money in the first place. He has no job. For months, he has no job. He has not even secured, he has not even seen 100 naira or 200 naira. And you're asking him to use what money to come and listen to you. So that is the reality. Secondly, that you want to be a governor, and you say you're a righteous person and all that, you have a man of integrity, but you don't have the money to run your campaign. Look at other presidential candidates. It's only 2 people we have. How many do you see every day? How many make news? It's only 2 of them. And so they are spending money. Other ones are hoping on their beautiful manifesto and all that. But nobody, you are not hearing them. I don't think you have brought any of them here. But you'll be happy to have Buhari or JJ here in your studio. In fact, that would be the greatest thing that will happen to your studio. So what we're saying is that the reality on ground, you must also understand it. If you don't understand it and want to play, the ostrich, you just fail the election and you will fall without any remedy. So if you want to work and be whatever you want to be, sometimes the reality on ground is that you have to do certain things in order to get there in the first place. And then when you now get there, you can now begin to change the system. But here you have not come in. You now think you can change the system. People want to come to listen to you. You say there is no money for logistics and all that. Beautiful. Go and speak your grammar. You will speak to an empty hall. You speak to an empty audience. On stadium. And at the end, people will now judge you. Look at him. He's talking to an empty state and he wants me to come and waste my vote. I rather don't waste my vote. Let me now vote to people I've seen crowd,
That's where you're coming from.
So that is the reality on ground, sir.
Let's look at what the developments this week have contributed to the chances of these 2 major political parties at the general election. At one hand, it looks as if the PDP administration is basking in the euphoria of the successes being recorded by the Nigerian military and the regional force in northeast Nigeria. At the other hand, the APC seem to have done well with the presentation of the general at the Chatham House yesterday. Put all of this together, what does it make for these 2 political parties ahead of the rescheduled election?
Well, it's good that the military has actually, woken up and then they are properly equipped now, and you see that what most of us have been saying, that the Nigerian military that we know is capable of tackling this insurgency. But maybe because of issue of motivation, maybe the materials and the equipments were not there. That if they are given the right support, that they will root out these insurgents. And few weeks to the election, promises were made and say, give us 6 weeks, we're going to do this. And we see how they have taken this battle now, even to the war front. Different from when the Boko Haram insurgents were the one taking battle to us, and then getting more of our territory. Now we are recapturing, we are repossessing those territories and driving them, into oblivion. It's very, very commendable. And also, one is happy that the president also paid a very surprise visit, even though it's a highly censored visit, because one would have loved the Nigerian press to be there and see the Nigerian president address the military, boost their morale. That is what goes on internationally. We've been saying it all along, that Obama did it. So many of the world leaders do pay visit, surprise visit, to the soldiers who are in the battlefront. That's right. And when they get there, the issue of morale is boosted, that the president came to see them. That's right. We said it, they said, no, the president's life is threatened, the president's life is not safe, the man is not safe and all that. But we saw the president going to visit our military in the recaptured territory, boosting their morale, encouraging them. That is commendable. But it should have come earlier than this. So people now will read meanings into it. Or are you doing this because of few days to the election? You are now showing brave, you are a brave commander-in-chief. Why didn't you show this all this while? That would be some of the things people will say. But if he had done it earlier, it would have been a plus. But for now too, it is better late than never. He has done it to boost their morale. We commend him. So it's something that is a plus for him. But as I said, it's highly censored. We don't know what happened. We also heard of piles of military guns and all that were recovered. And somebody was saying that those military were looking so new. Are they not the ones that they just bought, they were exhibiting? Because if it was with the Nigerian press, they would have independently verified whether these things are Nigerian, this thing they were showing weapons, or the one they captured from the Boko Haram. That is for the presidency. I mean, for the current president. Then for the Chatham House lecture, very, very beautiful also for APC. As I said earlier, most profound statements were made by General Buhari yesterday. You could see him, banter with the MC, so which means the man has a sense of humor. And he made a profound statement that he cannot change his past. Very profound. But I can change my today and my future. Whatever has happened under his administration when he came in as a military commander-in-chief, I am holding out myself as being responsible, and I am holding myself as being accountable. But I can't change that past because it happened under a military regime where you don't expect, niceties and all that. I am saying I'm responsible for it, and I cannot change it. But today, that I'm alive, and tomorrow, I can change it. And that is very profound.
He also touched on the fact that the rescheduled elections, the importance of the rescheduled election holding at that particular date. Do you foresee any further change in this rescheduled date?
I don't. You know why I don't foresee any further change? Because the president of the country, President Jonathan Ebele Goodluck, openly said that 28th, I heard him clearly. I'm not talking about 29th of May now. He said 28th of March and 11th of April, those dates are sacrosanct. It then means that the election will take place that day. And then he also said that there is no intention to remove Professor Jega. And so if a president of a country makes a statement, especially in a politically charged atmosphere like this, and you should go to market with it. Because if it does slip, if it does renege, it will cost him politically.
Are there
you don't just come out and make such a political statement and then renege within the time you are seeking people's renewal of mandate. It will cost you. So I believe the president, the election will hold on 28th of March and 11th of April, and there won't be any further postponement. And that's why we need to bring the international community into this. Attention must be paid on Nigeria, and then insist that the government must go ahead with the election.
Is there any legal provision for further postponement of the election?
Now, the Constitution, the Electoral Act, is very clear as to days to hand over. The government's tenure, ends on 29th of May. And the Electoral Act is to the effect that election must not be held earlier than 150 days or later than 30 days. I follow him, sir, to the handover date. And so any further shift will affect this permutation. And that's why we saw the postponement as also within the purview of the law. Whatever they have done, they are still, after the entire thing, you still have more than 30 days before the handover and all that. So they are within the purview of the law. So I don't think that any government, this particular government will advise any further postponement, because it will create unnecessary crisis. And let me tell you, Nigeria's foundation has always been questioned, whether it's not fraudulent and all that. And we have suffered a lot of stress, at times. Remember 1983 when Abiola crisis and all that. Remember 1960 when 1960 election, and then 1966 war and all that. That ended in 1970. These are shakings of the foundation, and we managed to allow this house to stay. Now this year's electoral test is the highest of them all. Now if you succeed in allowing this foundation that is very shaky to still hold this house after 2015 election, nothing ever will ever, impinge on that particular foundation. But it is also possible that if care is not taken, the politicians can crumble this foundation that is very shaky with the electoral process. So our actions and inactions are very key. So whatever the government can do in order to reduce tension and do the right thing is what we advise at this point in time. Don't further postpone the election. Don't remove Jega. Allow the election to run through, and let there be issue of insistence on credible, free, fair election in which whoever emerges the winner must be handed over or continue. So let there be no mago-mago or wayo in the entire process that will create crisis.
Let's quickly open the phone line so that the viewership our viewers can also make contributions in the course of the show this morning. Please endeavor to turn down the volume of your TV set when you call it in so that we can have a crystal clear communication going on. From an excerpt from what the general said yesterday at Chatan, he says, "But I must emphasize that any war waged on corruption should not be misconstrued as setting old scores or a witch hunt. I'm running for president to lead Nigeria to prosperity and not adversity." You recall that a particular PDP chieftain said in Lagos that if Buhari wins, that he will go on an exile. Do you foresee any relationship between that? Do you foresee any of such happening, witch hunting, so to speak?
Yeah, well, when he said that, that is also very key. There are issues, people, arm themselves against Buhari. Oh, he will witch hunt, he will be he's very vindictive and all that. The man is saying no. The issue of even fighting corruption means when I come in, I will not appoint corrupt people into my government. I will stop corruption itself. All the loopholes. I will fly on economy issue of and all that. Maybe having 12 or 13 jets, for the presidency, the man may reduce it to 1 or 2. So these are the issues. And so he's saying, I will not. I would rather use the money, in the treasury for the interest of Nigerians. And so for those who want to remain corrupt, no, you will have no place in my government. And if you are caught, then you go to jail.
How realistic is that, given the kind of system we run with? Because the opposition is also saying that they are not corrupt people as we speak now in the Buhari campaign organization. Are we seeing a situation whereby Buhari, if he becomes president, would also send to court some people in his own camp?
Yeah.
Does that tally
if you want to be
with
fair,
the system here
if you want to be fair, I don't think Buhari said that even when he comes in, all the previous corrupt people, he will just go and clamp all of them in jail and all that. No. There are processes. If I come into government, I will close all the loopholes. That is his promise. I may not look at the back of all those who have committed, even from the PDP or APC and all that. I am looking now in the future. On 29th of May, if I come in, we want to run a government that is in the interest of the people, where all the money for the treasury will be used for the interest of the people. And so if you are corrupt, you don't have any place in my government. If you want to remain corrupt, you have no place in my government. And if you are found to be corrupt, then you will go in, even if you means that you are the one that sponsored me. Are you following me, sir? That is what he's saying. Maybe not going back to go and, but the judge has no reason to run. Of course, he had a case with EFCC, and the matter is settled, and the court of Supreme Court acquitted him. So I don't think any Buhari will go and revisit the issue, because that would be witch hunting, actually.
He also says that the corrupt will not be appointed into my administration. I haven't been able to clearly define who the corrupt is in Nigeria.
Yeah, if you are a convict of any corruption legally, then you are corrupt.
But you understand that some people have not been convicted in the court.
There are also some people who are not convicted,
but who are perceived to be corrupt.
Beautiful. So it's also important. Perception is key. If we have a governor that we all know, that a particular governor that we all know, if you see, in fact, almost one particular environment, he is the one buying the entire property and is naming it after his name. And anyone that lives around that environment, he forces you to sell that property to him. Are you following me? And so I don't know how people will perceive such a person. You also know of some ministers who, you know, their lifestyle or what people have alleged and all that. So as long as those people are known, are perceived to be corrupt, then they don't have no business in his government. So what you need to do at any point in time is to remain very, very upright and righteous. And when you are righteous, my brother, everyone also around you will know.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, welcome to Call Digest. What's your name? Are you there? I'm afraid we lost that. When you call in, turn down the volume of your TV set so we can hear you very clearly. Don't forget that there is a little delay between what we say here and what you hear on your TV set.
Remember that was Dora Akunili that worked in government? It was somebody that recommended her and said, we knew this woman. We have her history, we know her antecedent, and she was recommended. There are some people in this country, people who have worked under, and they know them. So perception is key. People who are your employees or who are your, aides, they know when a man they're working with or working for is very, very upright. He knows what he stands for and all that. And people who also, fly about that man. He does not in any way, joke with issue of integrity and honesty. Those recommendations are very key. But this man, we know him. We know what he does and all that. So perception is also very key. How you behave and how the people, perceive you is also very important.
There were lots of opinion polls before the elections were rescheduled, but many are also looking at the impact of this 6 weeks postponement on the chances of either of the parties. One of the major issues for campaign for the APC has been the issue of security. Many are of the opinion that if the Nigerian military keeps up this tempo, that might just knock the idea of insecurity completely out of the question for the Nigerian electorate.
Well, for issue of security, we have succeeded now in driving them, taking the war to the, to them, which is very, very key. But the issue of insurgency, it doesn't end like that. As at yesterday, today, if I almost tried this a week,
about 2 suicide bombs
almost every day. They have now scattered.
They've gone back to where we started from.
Beautiful. So what they do now is target where people are crowded and then do what you call collateral damage, maximum damage. Let's keep on this and another. So more of intelligence gathering and nipping it in the bud and then devising more means of stopping this issue of hijab, so that you don't infringe on some people's religious right. But you must also be careful to ensure that you now put a policy of this hijab. Is it the short one we'll be using or the long one and all that? This hijab, are you sure most of them are even wearing it for the sake of religious piety or they want to use it for evil and all that? So attention has to be paid to this issue of hijab, using young ladies now to detonate and inflict what you call maximum damage and death. So people must now begin to look toward that direction. So if you are winning the war in the Zambeza forest, you must also begin to now.
You don't see the issue of insecurity totally being blotted out of the equation.
It is plus minus. Look at people who are intelligent will ask you, what has the government been doing all this while for almost 5 years? Why? Because of election now, the military.
Just a minute, Barrister. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Lee.
Welcome to Call Digest. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Israel, calling from Lekki.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution, Israel.
Okay, I'm so excited seeing Barrister Monday UBANI. He's made me day. He's made me more happier. More especially when the way he analyzed my president's outing at Chatan government. It's quite impressive. And there was a question you asked concerning the benefits of the postponement to both parties. I think it's the more on PDP side. Just yesterday, we are told that the pension reform has brought about 2-something billion. He told me that a lot of things are happening in quick succession, which never happened before, just to target at the point of winning an election. For the first time, I've been able to see my president in full military regalia, 5, 6 years down the line, it never happens. It tells me a lot of things are happening in quick succession. But Nigerians can't be fooled. We are watching and we are taking notes. Thank you. And once again, I want to thank Barrister Monday UBANI for his astute analysis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Israel, for your contribution. Let's keep it up like that. Turn down the volume of your TV set when you call in. You were talking about the issue of security, but you know, let's move away quickly.
So I was saying, people will now ask, why do you have to wait until 6 weeks to the election? You know, there has been allegation against the opposition. They are the one masterminding this, and the opposition has also been accusing the ruling party. You are the one engineering this, and you are doing this for political reasons. So why do you have to wait till 6 weeks, and then you are now winning the war? So what is happening differently? Is it that you have more equipment now, which you didn't have before, or is it a different set of military men that are now in the war front, or is it a different terrain? You know, why is that Zambiza forest now being invaded, whereas initially people are running away from that? So what are, more questions than answers. So it is important that those questions are being asked. So, but whatever it is, we are very happy that the government of Federal Republic of Nigeria has really woken up to their responsibility and doing what they're supposed to do. We have now military equipment for the military men. We know them, you know, to be very brave, are now fighting the insurgents, which we believe from the word go that these people were small boys in the eyes of Nigerian military. They can handle them if they are given the right environment and given the right equipment. And they are using that equipment now. Yes. I'm so happy and I'm excited about it. I'm excited because we need to win that war. We need a safe country. We need a peaceful nation for us to make progress. If you don't have peace, there is nothing you can do in the absence of peace.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Call Digest.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ibrahim. I'm calling from Niger.
You have to raise your
Ibrahim,
voice.
can you speak louder than that from Niger?
Okay. My name is Ibrahim. I'm calling from Niger.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you. I want to comment the barrister you have in your program this morning.
Okay.
Yes, these are the kind of people who like being at the school. For those who are not partisan, we have been dealing with the issue objectively. So I commend you sincerely. However, most of these issues being raised by opposition are things that government ought to have taken serious long ago. Although they will claim with an opposition tactic, but there is no tactic to play with the life of the citizens. However, for the past 5 years, this whole project has been on. People criticize it, saying that, however, the government does not have time to stop this project. That people have known the lasted for all this period. Are you hearing me?
Yes, please go ahead.
So that is the angle at which we, the electors, are looking at it. It's not now that they need for the election that they should be looking at this against it. Definitely, please, I want you to use this video to appeal to Fani, Kayode, and this current situation. I don't know where to become bodyguard to Buhari outright their Muslim movement of this. So whether contesting or not contesting, he is a human being. And if you don't speak, it is provided to anybody. Anybody can help you at any time. If you stop reaching this one test, because if you do things to them, they will not be happy.
It's all right, Ibrahim. Could not hear you clearly, but I'm sure that you made your point there. We talked earlier about, let's just quickly try to forecast what the trend of the news will be next week, because some APC senators came up to say that they have it on good authority that there are plans to ask the chairman of INEC to go on a terminal leave. That will be next week, and they claim that the head of service had been directed to serve him memo to ease him out of office during the run-up to the election. I know exactly what Mr. President said, but this was exactly the kind of rumor we had before the postponement of the election. If it happens, do you see it as a major game changer?
It's a major game changer because if you bring another person to see through the electoral process, it's going to create some level of confusion. INEC chairman Ijega has done a lot of work towards this election. There are plans he has already agreed, policies he has agreed with his commissioners to carry through. Now, if you bring somebody that comes in, a new person entirely, who was not there from beginning to see the election through, there will be some hiccup and there will be some confusion. It will create crisis. Now, as I said earlier, INEC's professor's job is tenured. He's tenured. He has, a tenured appointment. He's not a civil servant. So this issue of proceeding on terminal leave, I don't know where it's coming from. He is on a tenured appointment, and until that, which will expire sometime in June, he would have successfully handled the election, and then the people, whoever have won, will be sworn in before he leaves, if they don't want to renew his chairmanship of that body. But I think that any attempt at this juncture to bring in another person will raise so much. That's why I said that our actions and inaction, will really help whether this nation will be together after this electoral process. It's important. So we must be careful to just follow the system.
If this allegation is true, what exactly would you say that Jega has done wrong? Because there are also many concerned Nigerians who are questioning whether INEC has really improved on its activities after the 2011 election.
Yeah, talking about INEC's competence and INEC's understanding, I also know that there are some shoddy things that INEC need to take care of. If they do, this election will be one of the best elections they will ever have. Issue of logistics. Most time, INEC do not in any way plan in advance. Who are the transporters? Issue of vehicles you use to convey materials. Then the people who you will convey, when they are supposed to come out and who is going to convey them. Most time, these things arrive late. So if INEC succeed in taking care of logistics, if INEC also succeed in monitoring those people they have employed as ad hoc workers, because most of them will be working for political parties, and so they will display some level of dishonesty, and then work against the interests of INEC. If INEC succeed in all those crossing the T's and dotting the I's and making sure that those things are taken care of, I tell you, and then make sure that you have right people that will record the correct thing. I'm very happy that they will do accreditation. Even as a polling unit is 500 that will vote, by the time you finish accreditation by 1 p.m., you now write down it is 500 that will vote in this polling unit. All the agents of the political parties will record is 500. So there won't be an issue of 501 or 2 million casting their vote in this particular polling unit. Now, all the polling units, all agents, will have their phone. So there will be the issue of communicating even with other polling agents, all over the place, within a ward, within a local government, within a state. So this time around, it's not going to be because of this e-card, the card reader system they're going to use will, reduce to the barest minimum this issue of election rigging. But so this time around, I'm saying that INEC must take care of this small logistics and then make sure that the machine itself does not fail, because I understand that it uses battery. Now, if there is any failure, you must have a provision for another one immediately or change the battery so that people will not wait again indefinitely and then start complaining. So if INEC chairman does all this with all the INEC commissioners, all of them are up and doing, and the interests of the country is at heart, that we must make this Nigeria to survive. I tell you that INEC chairman may carry out an election this year that will be regarded as the freest and fairest and even the most credible. It all depends on him.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning, Sochuku.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to Mr. UBANI.
Morning, my brother. Morning.
Good morning, Sochuku. Please go ahead with your contribution. Sochuku, are you there?
Oh, we lost.
I'm afraid we lost that call. You might have to call us back. You gave us the lofty ideas that you just shared. It wouldn't be logical that if we place someone like you as chairman of INEC, that probably we could have an improvement on what Atahiru Jega is doing. I'm just trying to look at probably a logical conclusion for the other school of thought that probably a change in leadership would also equate to an improvement on the activities of INEC.
If INEC Jega is given the right support, and then have the collaborative effort of all the commissioners, they have a meeting, and gentlemen, every man must make this thing to succeed. It's about leadership, actually. Telling every person that in your own bit, let there be no failure, because every state is going to be monitored. Please ensure that every worker is monitored. You as a INEC commissioner, you as, because there are heads of this and another. Every person, gentlemen, the entire world is looking at us. The entire world is looking at Nigeria. So with that spirit of patriotism, with the spirit you love this nation, that we must make this to succeed, every person must be in this. But my problem is that if you change INEC chairman, now you create many scenarios. The scenario you create is that people are alleging that you want to change because you have somebody that you want to bring that will be compliant to rig election in your favor. So that
should. Do you foresee any uproar from the people?
Oh, it's not a question of uproar. The country will be thrown into turmoil.
Exactly what some people said before the postponement of the election, and nothing happened.
Listen to me, sir. People accepted that postponement because it would be stupid for us to start, making trouble over issue of postponement. That is still within the purview of the law.
Okay.
You are within the purview of the law. But now you will be breaching the law by removing Jega. You will be breaching the law now by postponing further this election. We could encourage in the constitutional provision that says this election must hold and handover date is 29th of May. So you'll be creating constitutional crisis in the first place. And so if people begin to do anything, you are the one that have caused it. So I'm saying that removing Jega shouldn't come under contemplation. What we'd rather do is to encourage him, give him all the necessary support, and then tell him what he's supposed to do to make this election to be a successful one.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, anyone there? Okay, I understand we're having challenges with a network on this line, but keep trying. Let's hope that we can also take one or two more calls.
Honestly, I want to hear from Nigerians, honestly.
We go on the show today. Okay, let's try this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Call Digest. What's your name?
Mr. Hakim.
From where?
From Osun State.
From Osun. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. Hello?
Go ahead with the contribution, please, Akin.
Hello? Please go ahead with your contribution. Okay. What I want to say is this. We live in a country where when you go out in the morning, you are afraid because you don't know what to make out there. I don't know if you read in the newspaper this morning that as we speak, some people are busy launching their home money, launching their home place number, launching their whatever it is, I don't know. In that.
I'm afraid we lost that. Poor network connection this morning. Keep trying. If you can't reach us via the phone, all you need to do is let's have your tweets out on our Twitter handle at Call Digest Live. We're hoping to hear from you. Now, let's begin to put all of this together as we wrap up this show this morning. At one hand, it is preparation on the part of INEC security agencies. What would you call the right preparation now for the electorate who are indeed the game changers for this election, in whom hands, they say, lie the ability to either retain President Jonathan or change for APC?
Yeah, a lot of people's mind are already made up. And then the majority, up to 80%. There are those who are undecided, maybe in the neighborhood of just 20%. And so they are waiting for one slip or the other, Those of us, many people's mind are already made up. Those who are for Jonathan,
is your mind made up
there is
already?
nothing except God. I see God physically. God now tells me, Mr. Buhari, don't vote for this candidate. It's only God now that can change my mind over my own particular choice, And I know also many people, for President Jonathan, there is nothing that will ever make them change their mind about President Jonathan, and they're ready for him. There are those also for GMB, nothing, except they see God, So most of them we have already made up. So what we do is to make sure for those who have not collected their PVC, there must be this extra for, because I think the governor of Lagos, they said yesterday that from tomorrow, it's going to be daily now for those who will go and collect their PVC till 8th of March. So please, they need to make that small sacrifice, leave your place of work, take an excuse, go.
Just a minute. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Call Digest. What's your name?
I'm Yamao Isiakutanku from Abuja.
Yamao from Abuja. Please go ahead with your contribution, Yamao.
Yeah, sincerely, I want to welcome the guest of today. Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I sincerely want to thank the guest of today, the barrister, because of the way he's analyzing things. It has taken time. I see a Nigerian that sits in a television house talking to Nigerians with sincerity the way he did this morning, because I can see the analysis he has given this morning is a very good one, and he's not criticizing the government, but he's telling the Nigerians the truth about the government and the opposition party. So I sincerely thank him for what he's doing this morning. I want to tell him thank you for what he's saying, and he should keep it up.
That's
Thank
all right.
you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Yamal from Abuja. At one hand,
for
you
those who
talked
don't know
about
me,
the
I want to say that I was the former chairman of Nigerian
the
Bar
NBA
Association,
Ikeja
Ikeja branch,
branch.
and we call for, you know, the Ikeja branch, the Tiger branch. We're always on the side of the truth.
That's right.
And we will remain like that by the
That's
grace
right.
of God. Yes.
At one hand is the collection of PVCs. At the other hand is that courage to step out of the house on March 28 and April 11 to actually
very important.
cast a
Like
vote.
in my own estate, I am in charge of the electoral process. You know, my chairman has asked me to bring the program of the day because we need to be security conscious. I'm also working in concert with the chairman of the security. So that day people have to also be security conscious. You know, the arrangement is that you come for accreditation between 8 to 1. So if you do accreditation, just, you know, get to the house, do one, and come back within the time for the election itself and cast your vote. Don't come late. Don't be a problem, you know, person. And then don't create any scene. Don't create any problem. Come, cast your vote. If you want to hang around, then, you know, leave the vicinity and watch event and all that. And I also want the political parties to have strong agents. Both PDP, Labour Party, NCP, APC, have strong agents, those who cannot be compromised. Those no money can ever listen. So please, if it is 5 persons that voted, there must be a count of 5 persons and all that. Then know how you now send this data to whoever is your coordinator within your polling unit and all that. So that is very important. Please get strong polling agents. Very, very important. And this advice cut across all the board, both PDP, APC and all that. Get men that are intelligent, men who know what they want and who love this nation to be your polling agents.
Just a minute. Let's take this call from Tochukwu calling from Anambra.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Wayne.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine. Okay, let me quickly commend Mr. Ubani. Indeed, he is one of the persons I could boldly and proudly say he analyzes issues without a sentiment, together with Mr. Bola. These are the only distinguished 2 persons I can comment so far.
Thank you, sir.
Having said that, I want to also appreciate the fact that Buhari yesterday at Chatan House for the first time impressed me. He impressed me because I listened to him speak, and for the first time I saw him admit that indeed this government has done something. And this is what opposition should be doing. When government has done something, so they have done, then bring up your own logic. If I had him right, he admitted that the economy is growing, that our economy has improved, and that it's growing past that 7% average. So these are the things we are looking for. So he also argued that he will do better. And he also argued the rate of employment. This is what I'm saying for the opposition. When you want to win the heart of average Nigeria, I tell you the truth literally. When you come up and what you only do is that this is to say that this government is not working, that everything in Nigeria is not good, you will not win those votes. But when you criticize structurally, constructively, you will win our vote. So let me commend him for that wonderful statement in Chatan House. It's quite appreciable. And I want to commend the work that has been done so far by the military. Indeed, they need our support at this point in time. Thank God that are working, and God bless them all.
Thank you very much, Tochukwu, for your contribution from Anambra. And that makes it the last call on the show. Before we go, what would you say are your last comments for viewers who also constitute electorate in 2015?
Yeah, the issue is that opposition is very key in democracy. And what does opposition do? What opposition do is say, look, we can do better than the government that is in power. And they begin to look at pitfalls of the government, the ruling party. That's what is obtainable anyway. You know, we have not actually developed to that level. That's why people see opposition. When you say you are a member of, they look at you as an enemy. Oh, you're a member of this, you are an enemy and all that. They don't even know the culture does not allow. But opposition is normal in every democracy because you want to take over power. And let me tell you, for the first time in Nigerian political history, we have never had it so good, where you have an opposition that is matching the ruling party money for money, personnel for personnel, campaign for campaign, you know, almost in everything. That making even the ruling party now to brace up. That's where it's supposed to be all over. Even in the states, where some political parties have, cornered over the years. We want, changes to happen so that you become careful in whatever you do. But when the government has been in power for many years, they begin to now enthrone impunity. Nobody will ever change us, and they begin to take decisions for a ride. But now everyone is being careful. Somebody said now that the government is telling us now they have social amount of money in pension fund, giving us how they say, which ordinary before. They won't give you any account. Who are you? And we're watching now whether they will release that particular audit report. The Senate or the House of Reps have given them 7 days. Let us know what the audit report now contains. It's for the public consult. Let us know now. And the House of Reps, our representative, even though we will not have that copy, Let them know what is contained there, whether what they said is contained there is what is there. So it's important that government operate by transparency, everyone is happy, and the interest of the people is supersede every other thing. I want to be happy in this country. I want to only go on holiday and come back to this nation feeling very proud, proud being a Nigerian. That is what, our boys shouldn't be running away from Nigeria because the environment is not conducive. So we want to make this environment conducive, good governance, accountable, responsible, all for us, for the sake of the people. And when government happens like that, you and I will begin to smile. We will go to school. We will go to hospital when we are sick. Our children will have a future. We will have jobs. And we smile. We sleep with our eyes too closed. And security all over the place. And you feel happy belonging to... Nigeria is a beautiful country. A place where you eat snail, bush meat, all manner of things here. I want to be in Nigeria. I want to remain in this country.
Thank God for the eradication of Ebola.
Ebola. I can go back to my bush meat. In fact, I ate one last week. This is a confessional statement.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I've been speaking with former NBA Chairman Ikeja Branch and also a public affairs analyst, Barrister Monday UBANI. Good to have you always.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, thank you guys for joining us on the show this week. We'll be back, God willing, next week with another exciting edition of Core Digest. Don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter at Core Digest Live, and we can have all of your opinions and contributions subsequently on the show. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Stick around for the top of the hour news. Thanks for being there.
You can now watch Core TV News live anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.